Welcome back to Stamping at the Warren, and I'm Kim Tolton, and today I am sharing with you this little tri-fold card. It's almost an A6. You just can't quite get the width, so where the width should be 10.5 centimetres, we can only get it to 10, so that we're using a single piece of A4 cardstock rather than having to use 12 by 12s. And it looks complicated but isn't, and I got the idea from this. I was watching a video of a fairly similar project on Patty stamps, and I thought, I wonder. So I've had a bit of a play around with it, and this is what I've come up with. So I didn't take down any of Patty's instructions or anything. I just watched it and thought, good idea, and then sat down to work it out myself. So I've no idea how close mine is to Patty's anyway. So here goes. This is obviously quite a masculine looking one, Valentine's card essentially, and I think it can be quite tough to get masculine cards to give to a man. So many cards that we make are aimed at women. I mean, over 97% of all my followers and viewers are female, so we tend to make cards for one another rather than making them for men, unless it's for a special occasion. So anyway, that's by the by. This is what we're going to be making today, and I haven't pre-cut anything. We're just going to go with the flow, and the stamp set that I'm using in keeping is the Going Global, and obviously you can get a bundle with this offer. So that's the stamp set that we're using. I'm only doing one tiny bit of stamping, which is this bit in the middle here, and the card itself uses one lot of paper on the inside. You have to use 2 sheets and one on the outside, and that is the, I don't know if it's of the same name, Going Places. So this coordinates with the Going Global stamp set. Right, and you could actually, if you wanted, because originally I was going to do this as a gatefold, you could actually do it as a gatefold card, as I discovered. So you would actually be able to, I've got to remember how I did it now. That was the bit there. So that will go down, it will go down like that. So you could do it as an easel fold. I'm doing it on its side, so it's therefore a trifold. Right, let's get cracking then. So you want your trimmer, and you want to trim a piece of, I'm using very vanilla cardstock because it happens to go with the theme, and it coordinates. Very vanilla is the base colour that's used in the designer series paper. So you want to trim this to 14.8 centimetres. And keep that little bit to one side because you're going to use that for your stamping. And you want it by 25 centimetres long. And then move your scoring blade right out of the way, not your scoring blade, your cutting blade out of the way, and you are then going to score at 20 centimetres and at 10 centimetres. You could use your scoring tool to do this. As I was cutting, it made sense for me to use my stamping trimmer as it's got both on the same piece. Then you just want your bone folder and just burnish those folds. And you'll see that the way I've cut it, it envelopes over. We're actually using it this way, but you could just as easily do it that way too. So that's your card base. To make your, so we now need to decorate that. So trimmer comes back up and you're going to cut identical pieces or sizes for the front and the back, but you're going to be using two contrasting papers. So I'm going to use this beautiful atlas one for one side, probably the inside actually. So you need two pieces that measure 14.4. I need to make sure I'm getting this around the right way. I need it that way. So I'm thinking of pattern to make sure the pattern's facing the right way up. Yeah, 14.4 by 9.6. So you should have two pieces there, and then 14.4 by 2.6 again. I think I might have done that one to 14.8, so I'll check. 14.4 by 9.6. And then you need two little pieces in one of each, so hopefully there's enough pieces left of 4.6 centimeters. Right, I should have written it all down, so now I'm going to check. So you should have two pieces that fit on one side, and there should be a little strip there, and then the same on the opposite side. That looks a bit too wide to me. So trim a bit more off of there. Actually got my calculations wrong. I'll put the right ones up. 14.5 point. It's just so it looks nice. Most of it's going to be covered up, so it doesn't particularly matter how accurate this piece is. Let's check. So that should go there, that there, and that there. That's the inside of your card. I haven't decided if that's the inside. Maybe the outside. I'll see what the atlas looks like, and then you've got your atlas, which is exactly the same thing. One there, one there, and one there. So it's just deciding if I want the blue. I think I'm going to go with the Lost Lagoon version on the outside. So I'm going to stick all of these pieces down. I'm using fast fuse. You could just, not fast, yeah, I'm using fast fuse. You could just as easily use Tombow, so whichever is your choice. It's entirely up to you. Just don't use PVA because PVA really makes the cardstock warp. So just stick these down on the corresponding pieces. And this, I love this paper, particularly this Atlas one, because it just gives a really lovely map feel to the inside of the card. And I think this Designer Series paper pack is just perfect for making cards for those men in your life. Right, that one's run out. On to another one. You always know when your fast fuse is coming to the end because it starts catching when you're using it. And then this bit goes down on here. It's getting dark in here, so I'll cut that somehow. I've managed to cut that bit a bit too long. I'm going to just take a bit off the bottom with my paper shears. No idea how I did that, but there you go. There you go, that's the inside of the card. Flip it over and just going to make sure everything else is correct. And then again with fast fuse I'm going to do this. I could just have easily, I nearly went with this almost wood grain effect side of this particular paper, but I don't know. It just felt like it would be better without. And you could use a real mix and match effect with the Designer Series paper. You could flip it all around, you could, I don't know, you could just do all sorts with it, couldn't you really? You could have almost a collage of papers on the inside, so. And then finally this little bit on here. There we go. And that bit goes down on there. And I will make sure all of the measurements are on my blog. So you could have it as an easel fold like that, or you could have it in that way. And this is what we're doing. I'm going to show you what we're doing now. So the next step is to punch out a hole of the largest end. So this is the small end, this is the large end. You want to get a 2-inch circle punch in there. It is going to be a bit of a struggle, but it was easier than trying to mark out 2 pieces of paper and a piece of cardstock. So give it a good punch. It did work earlier. So there you go. Make sure you've got both ends on the end there. And then you've got a circle. Do not throw this bit away because we're going to use it. And you just want to separate them off. There's 3 bits together, and you're actually going to add a bit of adhesive. That one's already stuck, so we're just going to add a bit of fast fuse here. and just pop those back together, and you then make sure my writing is up the right way. There we go. You then pop this down. This is your punched out image. Open up. And with a pencil, actually it's probably easier this way. So just at the bottom bit there, just that little third there, just with a soft pencil, make a mark. And this time you're going to have the Lost Lagoon paper on the inside, and you just want a piece of fast fuse on the base of this. Don't go up too far, otherwise you won't be able to open anything. Now you get to the circle and you just push down another millimetre, and there is your little pop. And that's a basic card. That's not bad, is it? I'm going to do a little bit of sponging of edges, just because I can. And I'm going to use, what shall I use? I think I'm going to use Lost Lagoon. Just do a little bit. All along all the creases. Just to grunge it up a bit. Well, a bit more than it already was. And then around the edges, make sure you do back and front. Goodness forgive, you know, our men, they smile sweetly when you give them a pretty card, but they'd much rather have something in general a bit more masculine. And for me, this kind of hits both bits, because it's still feminine enough for a woman to like the very vintage feel of it, almost steampunk. And men will like it too. And then just go around the edges of the circle here, just the bits that you can. And then repeat that on the back. And don't be precious about this, just let those colours have a bit of a funk. When the ink's dry, they will be almost the same shade as the designer series paper, but there should be enough contrast, because it's never exactly the same colour, even though they use the same dyes and everything to make the cardstock. It's never an exact. I bet you can't even see what I'm doing, can you? Holding it all up in the air. Right, so if I have gone completely AWOL, what I've done here, you've probably been unable to watch any of that. All I've been doing is going round with a wedge of Stampin' sponge, and I've just distressed almost all the edges, so I haven't done here, missed a bit here, and I've just been using Lost Lagoon to work in with what we already had. I'll do a little bit around the circle here, And there you have it. So that is the basic card, and because you have this little tab here, this little semicircle, what you'll find is that if you use it as a gatefold, it will sit up, or an easel fold, it will sit up quite nicely. And it's actually quite sweet. I don't know if you can see there, but when it's done as an easel fold, it's almost like having a little peek. Yeah, little peek inside something, like you're looking through a telescope at a map far away. It's quite sweet. So that's your card base all complete. All that's left now is your sentiment. So I'm going to pop that there for a moment. And because it's got designer series paper on it as well, it gives weight to the project so that it sits nicely. So a piece of that scrap leftover white cardstock. And you're using basic black. Grab my ink pad. I apologise if I disappeared there and I was just talking to myself and you couldn't see anything. Sometimes I get carried away and forget to look at the monitor up above. Tap my hand. So I'm using the You Are My Greatest. Oh, I'll have to read it. You Are My Greatest. I can't quite read it because I've got a grid thing on my my block. My Greatest Adventure. There you go. Isn't that lovely? Very sweet. And then the Flowerful or Sweetheart Punch. And I've just used Archival Basic Black ink pad. Again, because its colours reflected in the designer series paper. Punch out your little heart. Grab a 3 dimensionals. Pop them on the back there. And that goes down in the middle there, so you can have it. I've done this one as the gatefold. There, upside down. So that's the gatefold version. So it will stand up like that, or it will stand up the other way. It's just that you've got to look at it on the side. But I think that's quite sweet. And you could actually put a little sentiment probably in the back of the circle there. And then the other one is in the portrait fold, using the same designer series paper pack, but 2 very different feels. I'll make sure everything's up on my blog when this video goes live. If you've got any questions and or any feedback or anything you'd like me to have a go at, then by all means drop me a line. You can leave messages on my YouTube channel or on my blog, and there will be a link on between my blog and my video. If you just press on the information icon in the top right corner of the video, you will be able to get a direct link to this project on my blog. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you perhaps on my Pinterest community board. The details are in the show more section, and I'll see you again tomorrow. So ta-ta for now. Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening to me blurbing. I'm off for my dinner now. Ta-ta.